All right, so in this video, I'm gonna walk you through the lifestyle changes, the eating, the supplements, the big changes that I made throughout my process of getting rid of psoriasis for good. I know that if you're watching this, you likely have it or someone in your family has it, and you wanna know exactly what to do. I'm gonna tell you what I did, okay? I work with a lot of patients with psoriasis, and I give them eating plans, and I give them supplement protocols, I give them lifestyle change plans. I work with them along that process, and everybody's a little bit different. So I wanna say that up front, but a lot of you ask me, what exactly did you do? Not just what did you take out and things like that, but what exactly did you eat? And I'm gonna tell you exactly what I ate and what I did in the process. And I think you're gonna get a lot from it because it's gonna help you see that it is pretty simple. It's pretty minimalistic, but I'm gonna do this a little bit different. I'm gonna go through all that. So number one, I'm gonna go through the supplements I took. Number two, I'm gonna go through the eating, what I did actually eat, okay? Number three, I'm gonna go through the major lifestyle changes that I made. I'm talking about how I exercise. I'm talking about the detoxing of the environment, the stuff I changed in my environment and around me that made a big difference, the mindset stuff that shifted as well for me. And it's gonna be a long form video. So this video will be a longer video than I normally shoot. I wanna tell you that up front. And so if you're just like, hey, I wanna learn what you ate, I don't care about the rest, then look in the comments below, or the description below, and just go straight to that point. And I'm gonna cut these videos into separate videos so you can watch them individually. So if you just wanna know exactly what I ate with psoriasis, go over to the video on exactly what I ate with psoriasis, okay? Hope that helps. But I also wanted to be in a long form, so bear with me. As you go through this process, as you go through this video, stay till the end because I can promise you're gonna get so many good nuggets, so much benefit. I created an online psoriasis course to teach people how to get rid of psoriasis and all the key factors that they need to know to really make this a lifestyle, long-term change, not something that just got rid of it and it just comes back. And if you want that course, just comment below and say you want this psoriasis course. And there's a value to that course, and it's a lot. It's probably over 15 different hours of me just teaching what I did and what you should do and how to make those changes, and then working with people throughout that process individually as well. And I tell you that simply to state that this video, this long video, is going to be the kind of like the core, the tipping point of that course, okay? And so without this, it's kind of hard to move into the rest. So watch this video all the way through. So number one, let's dive into it. We're gonna talk about supplements first. What supplements did I take? This is always the fun one to talk about, so I'm gonna throw it first because everybody wants to know, what can I take that's gonna get rid of it? What's the magic pill? There's gotta be something out there that's magic that's gonna get rid of my psoriasis. That's why we go to the medical doctor. That's why we get steroids. That's why we get medications, because we feel like it's just gonna finally get rid of it. Like for me, I used to have, I had psoriasis for 30 years. So just kind of a step back to tell my story for those of you that haven't heard it. When I was probably 4 or 5 years old, I started getting psoriasis on my elbows, on both elbows right here. And I went to the dermatologist. I took the steroid creams, and it would go away. I'd stop the steroid creams and it'd come back. And that's just kind of the process I was on. And then in middle school, I started getting it in my scalp. And I remember just scratching it and it was flaking everywhere. I'd show all my friends it and I thought it was funny. And then I realized when I found out it was actually psoriasis, not just something else. That was kind of frustrating. And I didn't know much about psoriasis. Nobody taught me that it was an immune response issue. Nobody taught me anything about it. I just knew it was on my skin and I wanted to get rid of it. So I took the medications, I took the steroids for it. And eventually I just decided I'm gonna live with it. And I lived with it for a while. And then finally, I got into more of a natural health way of thinking, and I started learning about what psoriasis actually was. I didn't have the internet years ago when I first had it, so I started finding out what psoriasis was. I started researching, I started changing eating plans, I started doing supplements, I started working with different natural doctors who helped me track me in this process. And eventually at age 34, it finally disappeared. And I'm 40 now, so it's been gone for 6 years. I haven't had it come back in any way, shape, or form in that period of time, okay? And I wanna show you how to do that, and I've helped people do that since. And so that's my story, okay? So what vitamins did I take? Guys, there's not gonna be this perfect supplement that you can take that's gonna get rid of your psoriasis. And I knew that doing this, I was taking supplements for one reason. I wanted to make sure my body had what it needed to be healthy and heal the way it was supposed to. And because I found out it was an immune response issue, I wanted to do something that would help calm my immune system as well. And so the supplements I took were based on giving my body what it needs, making sure it had the nutrients, minerals it needs, and calming the immune response overall. With that said, a long way to get to. Number one, and you probably could guess it, is Vitamin D3. We know that vitamin D3 is essential for the immune response. It's essential for many parts of our health as well. I've done videos just on this, but I took about 10,000 IUs of vitamin D3. Since then, my recommendation on that has gone up to about 15 to 20,000 if you have psoriasis. But again, I was starting out. I took vitamin D3, about 10,000 IUs. This is without any testing. This is what I did. I took omega-3 fatty acids. So I took something called cod liver oil, took Nordic Naturals cod liver oil. And I took that for a while. I shifted over to some tuna oil for a while from Standard Process. And as I'm going through these supplements, I can help you get these through this process if you want. But the systemic formulas, or Standard Process, I did tuna oil, then I went to calamari oil, and then I ended up back at cod liver oil. My research led me back there. I didn't see a difference between any of them in terms of what I was noticing them do. Okay, so I had D3, I had omegas. The next one I had was liver. I actually found out that organ meats are very healthy for you and that they were part of the human diet for a very long time. And we've kind of pulled them out of our diets. And mostly because of grocery stores, we've created, packaged meats where you have your chicken breast and you have your chicken thigh or you have your ribeye steak, but you don't have the whole animal in front of you, which is, innately what we were kind of, I guess in the beginning had. And so organ meats were something that people would eat, and they're actually very good for your organs, specifically liver being very good for your liver and detoxification of the body. And so I started taking liver capsules. I started eating liver for a period of time as well, but for the most part, I took desiccated liver capsules. The other supplement, the next supplement I took was a digestive supplement, something with ox bile. I can't remember the name of it then, but what I use that's very similar now is something called Advanced Digestive Enzymes by Thorne, but it had ox bile, had betaine HCl in there, and some other digestive enzymes. I took that before each meal, just because I found out that psoriasis had something to do with the gut. And so I knew that if I was going to help break my food down better, help my stomach, help my gallbladder, which is what that ox bile is for, and help my pancreas and other parts of the digestive system produce enzymes to break down the food, then it would probably benefit me. I also took something, and this is one of my favorite supplements, actually. I haven't talked to you guys about it much because I've kind of shifted into some other things, but Schisandra. Schisandra is an herb. It's a very bitter herb, which means bitter herbs in ancient medicine have really been proven to support detoxification and support the liver. And so Schisandra is something that I took in a liquid form from Standard Process. I took Schisandra. Rehmannia is the other herb you've heard me talk about a lot. And I love Rehmannia because the fact that it helps stimulate what's called the Th2 response. The Th1 immune response being overactive is what causes the skin overgrowth on our skin for psoriasis, right? So the idea is if you stimulate the Th2 response, it kind of calms down that Th1 response because they work together. And in return, the psoriasis calms down. So these were the immune and detoxification herbs that I used. And then finally, again, this wasn't simple. I didn't go crazy on supplements. Finally, I took mixed mushrooms. And what I mean by mixed mushrooms, there's a company called My Host, and they have a bunch of mixed mushrooms, and it's things like reishi, chaga, lion's mane, cordyceps, things that are great for the immune response, things that are great for adaptogenic properties in terms of your body handling stress. And that's it. Those are the supplements I take. I took D3, omegas, liver, ox bile, Schisandra, Rehmannia, and what was the last one? Mixed mushrooms. Okay, that was the core supplement plan. Okay, so if you want those supplements and you feel like, hey, that's exactly what I want to do, I'm not telling you to do that. I'm a big fan of individuality, meaning let's work together and let's find out what's actually happening for you. But if that is something that you want to get, just say, I want those supplements. I'll put them in the Full Scripts thing and you can get them for 20% off, and you can get them from that company. They have everything laid out for you on there. It's pretty cool. That way you're getting good brands too, because quality does matter. I don't want mushrooms that aren't organic because they're gonna have a lot of pesticides and herbicides. I don't want herbs that aren't organic for the same reason, and I don't want them titrated or pooled. This part of the herb that you're taking, I don't want that pooled improperly. Liver, I want grass-fed, free-range organic in that process. Same with ox bile. And D3, I want high-quality D3 with K2, as well as omega-3 fatty acids. I want something, if I'm gonna take a fish oil, that has been tested for heavy metals as well. So I can help get you those. Now, that's the supplements I took. Now, it seems like, okay, you take supplements. thought, growing up in the medical world, you just take something and it'll get better. And if it doesn't, then that something you took didn't work. And so just take something else. And then it just becomes this medical merry-go-round of taking things. Well, you can do that naturally too. You can take a supplement and then it didn't work, right? Your psoriasis didn't go away. So you're like, all right, what's next? And then you go on to the next one, and next one, and next one. Then you end up with this big mirrored cabinet in your bathroom. Instead of it being chunked full of medications, it's chucked full of supplements, but you still have psoriasis. I don't want that either. And so there is another step of the process, which is what are you putting into your body? If you've ever heard me talk about nutrition, you've hopefully heard me say this. Nutrition is not about just losing weight, not just about looking good and having energy. Those are all great reasons to have a good nutrition plan, not about longevity. Nutrition, two main things I talk about with nutrition. Number one, or I focus on with nutrition is number one, is it gonna give me the nutrients and minerals that I need to live and be healthy? Number two, is it going, and that's hard in the world we live in today, by the way, because our soils are so depleted. But number two, is it going to cause stress or more stress on my body? Meaning anything we eat goes through a breakdown process, oxidation. There's going to be some stress in that process, and that's fine. But is it something that's going to create unnecessary stress, like foods that I'm allergic to, like food allergies? Or is it going to cause stress like sugar or high fructose corn syrup or gluten, things that my body has to work really, really hard to process and get rid of and detoxify from, and it's gonna cause like increased oxidation. And so in the videos, go back to the video I did on what to stay away from or what not to eat with psoriasis. And those are gonna give you foods that you need to stay away from. I'm gonna give you foods that you wanna eat today or that I ate, okay? So here's the foods I ate. So number one, the vegetables that I stuck with and ate the most of. Now, every so often I'd have something different, but this was my core. Number one, broccoli. Broccoli is a big bang for your buck vegetable. It's not crazy expensive. It has high amounts of DIM, which is a methyl product that helps break down and detoxify toxins in the body. It's high in nutrient value, lots of nutrients in the cruciferous vegetables. It also has the amino acids that your body needs to produce glutathione, which glutathione is how your body detoxifies, is one of the ways your body detoxifies. It's a very strong antioxidant that our body creates. It's become a very popular supplement, but your body creates it or should create it on its own. And cruciferous vegetables are one of the best ways to get that. I chose broccoli. The other one I chose was Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts. I think they taste great. I think that they're good. Same with broccoli. Same reasons that I chose Brussels sprouts or broccoli, I chose Brussels sprouts. I would every so often have some broccoli sprouts or other different sprouted type things. But to cook those, I didn't do a lot of heavy cooking. I didn't use the oven because I tend to overcook them in the oven. I typically would steam these vegetables, and the cool part about steaming it is if you steam it at just a small enough amount to where it becomes soft, but not brown. Right? So a small amount, but the vegetable is bright green, especially with broccoli and Brussels sprouts. It actually increases the nutrient value in terms of what you're gonna get, meaning your bioavailability for your body to use those nutrients is much better than when you eat them raw or when you overcook them, okay? So your best way to cook your vegetable is steam them to that high bright color that they are, and you're gonna get the most nutrient value, and they're gonna be easiest to digest. Cool? So we got broccoli, we got Brussels sprouts. The other vegetable root that I ate was sweet potatoes. Now, I know that they have sugar, so why would I eat something with sugar? Guys, everything has sugar at some level, but I know that, yeah, it can cause a little bit higher insulin than, say, Brussels sprouts or broccoli, but there's plenty of nutrient value in that. My body did really well with it. It gave me that ability to eat really clean and healthy and still felt like I had a treat and I had a carb. Because I grew up, I don't know about you guys, but I grew up on steak and potatoes or meat and potatoes, meat and rice, meat and some sort of, I say I grew up with meat and potatoes. I actually didn't like potatoes at all, so that's not true. But it was the concept of it. It was meat and pasta or meat and rice or meat and some sort of a bread. I had to have the carbs, right? That was a part of every meal. Remember, we followed the food pyramid. And so my mind still thought that way and I still wanted those things. So sweet potatoes is a great way to do that. Now, I will say, I did have a patient recently who was following the gut healing diet, and this is all these foods are on that, was following the gut healing diet, and he was eating sweet potatoes two or three times a day, as pretty much that was like his core part of everything. And he ended up getting kidney stones because they're so high in oxalates, and his body was not doing a very good job processing. And they're not crazy high in oxalates, but the problem is if you're eating them like that. And so any of these things I'm telling you to eat, I'm not saying that's all you eat, but this is what my staples was broccoli, Brussels sprouts, sweet potatoes. The meats I ate were beef, grass-fed, free-range organic meats. Okay, all the vegetables were organic and local, by the way, but grass-fed organic meats is what I stuck with. I did a lot of beef, a lot of ground beef. Just simply it's more affordable, but I also did a lot of steaks, okay? I also have deer meat in my freezer year round, so I ate a lot of venison as well, which is very good for you. And then every so often I would have some fish, and every so often I'd have some chicken. But I really stuck with red meat more than anything. And I'll tell you, my blood work was really, really healthy and really clean after doing something like that. So I know a lot of you think that eating red meat's bad for you because I guess the American Heart Association decided it was, even though they've been wrong about everything so far, and have keep coming back on things. But no, red meat is actually a staple, a good high quality nutrients in red meat. You get great amino acids, or great fatty acids in there. Your omega-3, omega-6 ratio is about a 4-to-1 of omega-6 to omega-3 ratios in a grass-fed free-range cow. And you're gonna get great results with eating good, healthy meat, okay? The next thing on there that I ate was duck eggs. I switched out chicken eggs. A lot of you have heard me talk about doing food allergy testing. Well, in this process, the only test I did was in this starting point was a food allergy test, okay? And that's how I helped create what I was gonna eat. So I did a food allergy, an IgG food allergy test. Some of the main things that were on my IgG food allergy test was chicken eggs. That was a big one, and I was eating those every day. I'd eaten those most every day of my life. What else? Black pepper. My main way of seasoning things was sea salt, onion powder, paprika, and black pepper. Every so often I'd add some garlic in there. But black pepper was a part of everything I cooked. And because I'd been eating healthy for so long, not specifically like this, but eating cleaner for so long, I cooked everything. I didn't eat out much. And I guess that's one thing I would say in this eating plan is eating out wasn't a staple. Eating out was a once a month maybe kind of thing. And even when I ate out, it was still, hey, what foods are on my food allergy list and what foods are gonna be cleaner and healthier for me to eat. I would try to find a farm to table restaurant or something like that, or I go get something like a sushi or something like that with less of the fried foods that they have at those restaurants. And so eating out is going to be tough if you want to eat healthy and get rid of psoriasis. Okay, but so in that food allergy test, I had eggs, I had black pepper, I had lettuce, I had, what else did I have in there? Let's see, kale. I had some really weird ones that you would think are actually healthy. Chia seeds, tomatoes, all those things were in there. So I took those foods out and I just said, you know what? I'm gonna go with the biggest bang for my buck foods, and this is the things I'm gonna eat. Now, the other area I was able to make this kind of work for me and not have to have tons of foods to eat is I didn't eat all day long. I woke up, I had duck eggs. Sometimes I had intermittent fast, but if I was eating breakfast, I would have duck eggs for breakfast. That's it, over easy, duck eggs with some sea salt on it. At lunch, I'd have a piece of meat and some broccoli. At dinner, I'd have a piece of meat, some sweet potatoes, and maybe some Brussels sprouts. Like I said, there were some other things like cauliflower and some other things we'd add in there, but the core ones that I really ate were these things like Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cruciferous types of vegetables. And so the reason I did this process is because I knew that this would create the least amount of stress on my body, number one, and number two, it would have the biggest bang for my buck. And what I mean by that is if I'm gonna spend money on something, I want it to be something that's gonna help me in this process. Okay, so we got, ultimately that's what I ate. Now, sometimes I intermittent fast, sometimes I do a 24-hour fast on Sundays. I'd use a lot of that in the process, but actually what went into my body, that was that there. The other thing I guess you could add to that would be what I drank, which was I would have some sort of organic coffee once a day, sometimes twice a day, but mostly once a day. And I wouldn't put anything in it, just dark coffee that was created properly. So the coffee I drank was always organic, and it made sure, because here's the thing, coffee is one of the highest pesticide crops, so it can be very toxic for your body. You always gotta go organic on coffee and clean. Here's some additions. I'm sorry, you can see me, I'm looking down at my phone a lot, and I did that because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything for you guys. It's all up in here, but at the same time, if I don't have it written down, I miss it. So in terms of the other random foods that I would add in, I put down here additions to that eating plan: carrots, Those were kind of like if I just wanted something to snack in between meals, I would have carrots, celery. Those are the only two raw things I would do. I'm not a big fan of cooking carrots because it just kind of increased that glucose amount coming in. But carrots, celery, goat cheese was a good one, a big one I had. Sauerkraut was something I would typically have at the end of a meal, 1 or 2 meals a day. And then organ meats, I would actually cook organ meats, okay? So I'd have like kidneys or liver, things like that from healthy raised animals. The things I drank was water. That's the main thing I drank. Sometimes I would have a carbonated water, but for the most part, it was just water, and it was filtered by reverse osmosis, and I would add sea salt back in, a pinch of sea salt back in, or electrolyte drops that I'll use sometimes back into it to add the minerals. I would do apple cider vinegar once a day with water. So it'd be, I didn't really measure, but I would say about, maybe 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in water. And I would have maybe 2 ounces of water in that. And I would just drink that. Something I could drink quickly once a day for my stomach acid and just overall benefits. And then I would do aloe vera juice once a day. Okay, so those are the core things that are the other kind of additional things that I did along with that eating plan. Okay, so hopefully that was helpful in the eating plan part of things. All right, so when we talk about the other lifestyle changes that I made, this is the fun stuff, and I could go down a lot of rabbit holes. I'll do my best not to here. But let's start with exercise. Okay, so for most of my life, I grew up exercising or working out or playing sports. I played soccer through college, and it's just something I've always done. So exercising has not only been natural to me, it's something that I crave and I like to do. And so I grew up doing that. But during this time, I also knew that exercise was stressful on the body. And so if I was to over exercise like I have many times in my life, because to me it's just fun, I enjoy getting out there and going hard at things, that I could actually hinder my immune response and hinder my immune system in this process. And when I was really trying to just heal and get my body in a good, healthy place, I created a game plan exercise-wise where I was doing 3 days a week, a high intensity, short duration type of exercise. And that changed up, but essentially it was no more than 20 minutes. Okay, and so I would do things like I would go outside and sprint as hard as I can for 20 seconds, and then I'd walk for 20 seconds, and then I'd sprint as hard as I could again for 20 seconds, then walk for 20 seconds, then sprint again, and then I would take about a 2-minute break, and I would do 3 sets of that, and that would be the workout. Okay, now I'd add different exercises in there and things like that, but that's the core of what that high intensity, short duration type exercise was. So if you're sitting there at home and you're like, yeah, I want to do that. That sounds like a good exercise for me. And it is really scientifically some of the best type of exercise you can do for hormones, for immune health, for keeping cortisol levels down, but increasing muscle. Then maybe if you're someone that's not used to exercising, maybe you start out with jumping jacks. Maybe you start out with half jacks. Maybe you start out with just wall push-ups. Maybe you start out with just air punches. Something that's like a high intensity type of workout is going to be really big. So the high intensity exercise is really a big part of it. It makes a big difference. But I would do that 3 days a week. So I wouldn't do that every single day. I would always have a day in between to give my body recovery. And you think, well, that wasn't that hard. Yeah, but when you're going at 100%, it actually is more than you think. Okay, and then especially if you're not someone that exercises regularly. Okay, now the in-between days, I would do some sort of a weight training or resistance training type of exercise. And this wouldn't be high intensity. I'm not doing I'm not doing burpees and hang cleans and lifting over my head and all that kind of stuff. I'm just doing, I'd sit down and I'd bench press. I'd sit down and do leg extensions. I'd do squats. I would do things that had weight to them and resistance in terms of intensity, but not in terms of me just going as hard as I could for periods of time. That workout usually would be 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes long. I would never go way past kind of just that my ability that day where I was exhausted later on. If I ever felt tired the rest of the day, I knew I had gone a little too far. Okay, so 3 days a week high intensity, 3 days a week resistance, and then I would have a day off where I just do life. I have an active life, so I'd go out walking, maybe we'd go on a hike or just something simple, right? Where I wasn't focused on exercise at any point in the day. But as you can see, exercise wasn't something crazy that took a ton of time. My longest workouts were 45 minutes. My normal workouts were 20 minutes. And to this day, that's still typically where I'm at, about 30 minutes at the most for an actual workout, because they shouldn't have to be a long period of time. You get yourself moving, you get your body blood flow up. The rest of your day should be movement. So one thing I didn't do, and this is the hardest part for most people, is I didn't sit. I didn't spend probably this video right here would be the longest period of time that I actually just sat down. Luckily for me, as a healthcare provider and as a chiropractor, I'm moving all day long. I'm either moving towards the next patient, I'm physically working with a patient, or I'm communicating with them in a way where I can stand and teach. And so luckily for me, I'm not doing a lot of sitting, but for some of you, if your job is sitting, then you can't sit all day long and just exercise once a day. You're not going to get what you think out of it. And so you have to move all day long. So get yourself a wobble cushion or get yourself something that while you're computer working, right, with good ergonomics, computers up high, shoulders back, that you're actually wobbling, get a wobble cushion. You can move a little bit throughout your day. So you can take, every 30 minutes, get up and stretch and do a wobble cushion to get yourself moving. And you'll notice your energy levels are way better by the end of the day on that too. So exercise, that was my core. And what I did for a pre-workout was sometimes I'd have a little bit of coffee because I work out in the morning. So I drink my coffee and then go work out. And what I did for a post-workout is I'd have something to eat, right? Duck eggs, great protein value. I didn't do a bunch of protein shakes. Actually, I found that protein shakes for me were things that kind of hindered my digestion and I felt kind of gassy throughout the day. And I found that when I took all protein shakes, and I've tried them all different types, meaning like whey, pea protein, chia protein, hemp protein, you name it. I've bone broth protein, which if you're going to pick one, I picked bone broth for you, by the way. But I tried all those and they still kind of gave me a little bit of gas. So I just took those out completely. Just again, we're talking about exactly what I did, not saying this is what you have to do. So that's the exercise portion of it and really will make a big impact for you. So the other lifestyle changes that I made throughout this process really were pretty cool. Some of them were simple things that I just learned and tried and I think they work. They might not, I don't know, but I like doing them and the research studies and show that they work. And I got rid of my psoriasis, so you never know like exactly which thing, if you took out, would have been the one thing that kept it from happening or kept your body from getting in balance. I don't know, but I added things in like grounding, where I go outside every day and walk out barefoot. All right, I'm pointing out there because that's the window into my backyard. So I go outside every day, walk outside barefoot, and do that at least 10-15 minutes a day. So to increase energy, great for the cells, it's great for the overall energy production in your body. I would do that. I would do an infrared sauna. We actually have one in our house, but if you don't, there's plenty of companies now that you can go and pay, I think 20, 25 bucks, 30 bucks and sit in their infrared sauna a couple times a week. But I would do that typically on a daily basis. I would only do about 15 minutes a day of an infrared sauna. And I found that to be very effective. There's lots of health benefits to infrared saunas. We'll do a whole video on that, but you can research those. Those are very beneficial. Some of the other things that I did in this process was napping. I love to talk about napping because it's one of the things I think helps the most. There's no way to get your body in balance and recover than to sleep, right? Or to just rest. And so sometimes I didn't sleep every day during a nap, but I called it a nap because it was my time that I would stop. I would sit down. Whether it was, I started to lay down. If I didn't have the ability to get home and take a nap, then I would just get in my truck. I would turn some music on, turn the air conditioner on, and I would lay the seat back and take a 20-minute nap. I'd set my timer, lay there with my eyes closed for 20 minutes. Sometimes I got a good, nice little fall asleep, wake back up. Sometimes it just laid there. And I'm telling you what it was, how I did that, because I think people don't do naps because they don't think they can fall asleep. Or they don't do naps because they don't think their body will calm down and they don't think it's worth it. But just you stopping, timing yourself to where you're not thinking about, am I done yet? And you just close your eyes for that 20-minute period of time is really, really beneficial for your body. Okay, and I do that, that's still to this day, I do that on a daily basis. If I miss a nap, I can absolutely tell in the second part of my day. So 20-minute is great for recovery time when it comes to naps, okay? And the other real lifestyle changes that I made here, guys, were lifestyle changes in terms of like my environment, okay? I call it detoxing your environment, meaning the world we live in today is incredibly toxic. Some of it we can't control. When I walk outside today, there's gonna be probably aluminum in the air and there's all kinds of chemicals and things like that in the air. There's chemicals in our water system that sometimes we can't get rid of. In our food system, if they tested all of our food, all of it has something in it. And so there's some we just can't get rid of, but there's some I can control. And the things that I can control are what I put on my body. I can control what I put in my body, and I can control when I'm inside as much as possible what I'm breathing, okay? And so I look at it that way. So what you put in your body, by the way, if you want a detox PDF, I have a PDF that I can send you that literally teaches you not teaches you, but shows you kind of like a list of all the areas you want to start to detox in your environment. And you just quick list, you go down that and you start to change those things. It's pretty cool. If you want that, and comment in the section below that you want that. If you want the gut healing diet, by the way, as well, which is pretty much what I ended up creating as an eating plan after all this, just comment in the section below and I'll get you that PDF as well. Just say I want the gut healing diet. So with detoxing your environment, I ultimately went into my environment and said, okay, why do I have all these chemicals? I have air fresheners in my car. I have air fresheners in my house. I have laundry detergents that have all these scents on them. And I just started getting rid of all the scents, all the things that had smells to them that were chemical-based smells that were tricking my brain and tricking my body and building up in the body, okay? So I changed my laundry detergents to organic, non-scented. I changed the dishwashing soaps, right? And all the soaps that we use on our skin, shampoos, conditioners, all that stuff we changed to organic and non-chemicals and non-scents. And then I went to, hair products, took all the scents out of that, went with more of a clean organic hair product. For me, I don't have much more than that, but if you're, for females, changing your beauty products, changing those things around to something like Beauty Counter or some sort of organic based product that's gonna have real things, because our skin absorbs stuff more so than when we actually drink something, and there's less of a defense system. If you put a chemical right here versus a chemical right here, it's gonna have a big impact on your body. Okay, and so I started changing that. The other aspect of detoxing my home is I started to look at light bulbs. So light bulbs, the LED lights, actually are very stressful. So the whole goal, again, is to reduce stress on the body that I can control. So I took my light bulbs out. They were all LED based because that was the way to do it, to apparently save money. I didn't notice that, but hopefully if any of you notice saving money on LED bulbs, comment below. Yeah, I saved a lot of money. But I changed back to the white, the white light, soft white light, whatever they're called, light bulbs. I put those in our house. It looks great. I actually like it. It doesn't hurt my eyes as much. But LED lights just stressful on the body. They've proven to be stressful. That's why we look at a computer screen. It's so stressing on the body. I added in that same manner. If I'm working on a computer, I have blue lens glasses or blue screen glasses that block the blue light coming in. On the phone, I have an actual cover that goes over my phone that blocks blue light, and there's an app, or there's a mode on your phone where you can change it to off of the blue light, so it's not so hard on your eyes. So that was some of the things we did. We also took our devices. There's so much I can go through, guys. I'm just naming some of the things. If I told you everything, we'd be here all day and you'd be overwhelmed. And this might overwhelm you. I took our devices and I added electromagnetic frequency stickers on them to help block electromagnetic frequencies. I got you don't have to do all these things. You can just go with what I'm telling you. But I got electromagnetic frequency tester to tell how much electromagnetic frequencies was in the environment, because that hurts you at a cellular level. And then I got bowls. This one's really cool. I got bowls of shungite, right? I love saying that word. But shungite, which is a volcanic rock that actually absorbs electromagnetic frequencies. You put bowls of that around your house. They're cheap as junk. You put those around your house, they look kind of like decorative, but I actually go through with that tester, EMF tester, and all the EMFs go down in the areas that the bowls are in. Pretty cool. I also have a necklace that I wear for EMF protection. Harmony is the brand that I ended up getting, but there's other brands too. Okay, and then eventually we got for our whole house something called a blue shield that you plug in, and it creates an environment, a shield around the whole house for electromagnetic frequencies. We don't use a microwave. I quit using that a long time ago to help with that aspect of it. I have a timer on our Wi-Fi that turns the Wi-Fi off at night when I'm sleeping. Okay, so it's set for 11 o'clock. I'm not on Wi-Fi after 11 o'clock. So it turns the Wi-Fi off for me, and it turns it back on at 5 a.m. before we wake up. That way I don't have to mess with it. It doesn't become a burden, but it's also not a burden on my body, right? And some of these things, guys, I get this might sound extreme, and it could be, I don't know, but I'm just walking you through all the changes, because I can't tell you exactly what got rid of my psoriasis, but I can tell you that I made a ton of changes, and it boils down to how much stress is on your body and how much stress is your body able to handle, right? Some people might be able to do all those things and not have any issues at all. Good for them. They live to 105, 110. You see the person that drinks and smokes and does everything wrong, they live to 100. But that's not the majority of people. The majority of people, their body can only handle so much, and it's not as much as maybe that person. So I would highly recommend doing everything you can to get rid of the stuff you can control. Whether you think it's working or not, it's going to have at least an impact on your health, and all these small things add up. Okay, so that's some of the things we did. We got rid of all chemicals, all the smelly stuff, right? The plugins, Glade plugins. When we go on vacation to an Airbnb or something, the first thing we do is find that Glade plugin that they all put in, and we pull that sucker out, open the doors, and air it out. Because it's just shown to be carcinogenic and toxic. And so there's just so many things you can change there. I hope that was good for some of them. If you want the PDF that will walk you through all the different areas that we actually changed, just put in the comments below, give me the PDF for detoxing my environment, and I'll get that for you, and we'll be able to share that with you as well. So also one of the biggest things I changed, and this is just because I got into this world, is I did chiropractic care every week. And sometimes twice a week. And I know that's not easy for everyone to do, but I can tell you that that has become one of the most beneficial things I've seen for patients in our office. Because the thing is that chiropractic helps your body handle stress. And when it does that by removing physical stress from your body, it gives your body an opportunity to balance and heal, and it gives full range of motion throughout the spine. And 90%, get this, so if chiropractic helps get full range of motion throughout the spine, and 90% of the stimulation to your brain and your nervous system that runs every organ, tissue, cell in your body comes from the movement of your spine, chiropractic ultimately helps the body just balance and stress. And I've seen digestive problems go away. I've seen ulcerative colitis go away, just from chiropractic care, by the way. I've seen anxiety go away. I've had girls come in that don't have a menstrual cycle. They start having their menstrual cycle. We've had cysts disappear just from getting chiropractic care. We have tons of people that got pregnant, that were trying to get pregnant and couldn't, and have tried everything else to get pregnant. Let's see, constipation going away. I've had people that are constipated. I had a girl at one time with 6 years of her life constipated. Her first adjustment, she's been going every day since. Pretty cool. And it's because it balances the nervous system. It's not because it treats anything. And that's why I love it, is because we're not treating things. We're balancing your body, helping your body balance, removing interference from your body's ability to heal, and your body will heal itself. It's made to heal itself. Chiropractic isn't always the only answer, but I can tell you, if you're someone that really wants to get rid of an autoimmune response, I would highly recommend doing chiropractic care with that process as well. Okay, but the big picture, guys, again, is how much stress can your body handle? So 2 things with that. Number 1, reduce the stresses that you can control, strengthen your body up by the things you put into it and the things you do with it. And finally, have faith in God to take care of the rest, because you can't control everything and you're gonna go crazy trying to. So I hope this video didn't make you go crazy about trying to take care of all this stuff that you can't control. But essentially, it's about getting back to that. Hey guys, if you like this video, subscribe to this channel, like this video, and subscribe to this channel. Click the notifications button so you get notified whenever we put things out there. And if you want any of the resources that I talked about throughout this video, just comment, give me those resources, and I will get them to you, okay? Because the goal of this channel is to help you become your own health expert, not simply just teach you a bunch of information. All right, you guys have an awesome day. We'll talk to you next time.